Good morning all. Buenos dias, España, for those joining us in Spain. And I believe we should also say good evening to those joining us from America today, this morning here. Good. Can you all hear me okay? Could someone perhaps just confirm that you can hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay. We're going to have to mute you for the call, although you're all very quiet this morning. I can hear well, cheers. Excellent. Thank you for those that have confirmed that you can hear. So I'm going to turn everyone on to mute now. The reason we do this is because sometimes you get a lot of noise and it downgrades the quality of the audio for everybody else. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay. So we've got a number of things to show you today. It's basically to run through how stock in the channel works and how it can help you populate your own e-commerce site with thousands of products from all of your preferred distributors. This is something that we've been doing for a number of years. We have several hundred clients in the UK already using this service to populate either an e-commerce solution such as Magento, or indeed a back office system that they have of their own. The data isn't restricted. It can be used in whichever platform you wish to use it. Our preferred solution is Magento purely because we already have a bridge built, a solution or a plugin, if you like, to get the data from stock in the channel into Magento. However, the files that we produce in Magento, in stock in the channel, are delivered via FTP and can be collected and used in any platform that you prefer to use. So hopefully you can all see my screen okay. What we're going to do first is just take a look at the first part of the service, which you may or may not already be using. The service is called Compare Prices, and it's a prerequisite for the Webstore solution. In order for us to be able to export content to you, to make a file available containing your product information, first of all you have to set up your distributors so that there are products within stock in the channel that have pricing that is specific to you. So this is the My Account page on stock in the channel. We have here a link that says Manage Distributors. This is the same as clicking up here and selecting View All. Obviously this link is available on every page in stock in the channel, the View All link. And this will take you to the page where you see a list of all of the distributors that are active on your account, the distributors that you've requested that have not yet approved you, and then a full list of all of the distributors that are available for you to request a feed from within stock in the channel. So what we'll do just very quickly is show you how to set up a feed if you haven't done this already. I'm going to pick on Bits and PCs because they're a nice, quick and easy distributor to set up. Every distributor on stock in the channel has a marketing page, or a home page if you like, which always includes the distributor's logo, a link here to their website, a section where you can view contact information, and also an overview of when the feed was last updated. This is the stock feed that was last updated. So you can see how current the stock level is from that distributor for their products. Something that's quite useful within the distributor page is the brand share chart. This tells you what types of, or what products, if you like, what brands that specific distributor specializes in. And at a glance you can straight away see if it's someone you should be trading with or should be working with. So from here you can see immediately that Bits and PCs, 61% of their stock, their actual inventory, is Hewlett-Packard branded. So it's quite useful. To set up a price feed from any distributor, you will see a blue button beneath the search bar that says Set Up Pricing. And when you click this button, the page changes a little bit and it will ask you to enter an account number in here. So we're just going to put, test. When you hit the apply button, you have the option to add a delivery charge. You only really need to do this if you're using our order automation package, which is kind of outside of the scope of today's presentation, but it's a service that we offer, and if you want to learn more about the order automation, then please do get in touch with one of our salespeople. So if we just refresh this page now, and you can immediately see that we're now viewing not only stock level but prices as well. Now, I picked on Bits and PCs because they're what we call an auto-approved distributor. They only have one price file within stock in the channel, and everybody has the same price. That's why the setup of Bits and PCs is so fast, because there isn't a decision to make about which pricing the reseller receives. They just get the price file that we have on record. With most distributors, they have multiple price bands within the system. One of the largest distributors on stock in the channel is Computer 2000, also known as Tech Data in the States and in the rest of Europe. They have over 400 price files for UK customers within stock in the channel, which they upload to us every day, and they are customer-specific pricing. So what you should receive from most of the distributors is a price file that relates to your company. It's the same. You should see the same prices within stock in the channel that you see when you go onto the Computer 2000 website, for example. And that's the same for most of the distributors that we work with. So back on the distributors view all page, you can now see that in the list of active distributors, Bits and PCs are there, and it tells you when the file was last updated. So that's the first part about setting up distributors. Pretty basic. If you're outside of the UK, if you're joining us today from Spain or from the US, some of the setup of your distributor feeds could be a little bit more difficult, but we're here to help you. We try and keep it as easy as we can for the client, for yourselves, but obviously our relationships in those territories with the distributors are newer, and we're still in the process of making it easy for you guys. But until we have done that, you can contact us and we can help you setting up your feeds with your distributors if you're outside of the UK market. One of the other functions that we have here for the Webstore customers is the ability to upload and import your own product file. Perhaps you've got a distributor that you work with that isn't listed on stock in the channel, or you have some stock in your own warehouse that you want to include and be able to include in your own e-commerce site. But we have a solution which we call private data feeds. If you're on Compare Prices at the moment, you won't have seen this yet, because this is a service just for the Webstore client. This, as I say, allows you to upload your own product file. Just quickly demonstrate how this works. So we add a private data feed. We have a wizard, and we call the feed testing 1, 2, 3. Hit the next button. It tells you here the columns on your data file that must be included. So manufacturer SKU, brand name, product name, stock level, and price. You have two options to either pull a file, so you tell stock in the channel where to collect the file from, or to push a file to stock in the channel. That's where your distributor is going to deliver the file to our server. This is a very powerful solution, because it allows you to differentiate your web store from everybody else's by including products that are perhaps unique to you or that are outside of stock in the channel. And this is something that a lot of our successful customers have really utilized well. So we're going to select pushed, but just to quickly show you, if you were telling us where to collect a file from, you need to provide stock in the channel with an address, an FTP address, a username and a password, remote folder if there is a subfolder on the FTP site, file name, and an archive if the file that you're telling us to collect is a zipped, compressed file. We're going to use a pushed file. So when you select pushed file, stock in the channel generates a location on our server where you can deliver your files to. It has its own secure username and password, so only people that have these credentials will be able to access the file. Obviously, stock in the channel has them, and the other person would be yourself. You can give these details to your distributor, or you can use these to upload a file yourself. I use a tool called FileZilla, which is a free FTP client. FTP is File Transfer Protocol. And what we're going to do very quickly is connect to this folder using our FTP client. So I'm pasting in the address, the username, and the password, and hitting the connect button. This side of the screen is the remote folder, the stock in the channel FTP server, and what we see on the left hand side is my local computer. And I have in my C drive a folder called data, and within this sample private data feed, which is this folder here that we're looking at. And I have a file here called sample private data feed, or sample private feed 2, which I'm just going to drag and drop over here. So I've now transferred that file from my own computer to the remote folder. If we refresh this list, we now see the file here, and it's available for me to use. So I select this. I'm just going to very quickly show you what the file looks like. It doesn't have to be like this, but this is an example of what a feed could look like. So you have a distributor reference or distributor order number, manufacturer reference, manufacturer brand or name, product name, which is a title, stock level, a price, and some other options, so image URL, a thumbnail image, a RRP, and so on. And these are just arranged. It can be a CSV file or an Excel file. You will notice here we have some cells highlighted in yellow. These are deliberate errors in the file, which we'll come back to in a short while. So we've got the file here, and we're going to move on. And we're going to tell the system what kind of file it is. It's a CSV file. It contains a header row. So as we can see here, this is our header row telling us what the file contains. Prioritize this stock against distributor stock is something that's used a bit further on. If you had bought 200 of a particular laptop because you got a special price, and then 6 months down the road you've still got 20 of these left, but the price in distribution is reduced, you don't want to buy, if you sell one of those, you don't want to buy it from distribution. You want to ship your own warehouse stock before it devalues any further. So that's what that's for. Prioritize the stock on this feed over distributor stock. There's another option here, do not apply pricing rules. You only use this if the price that you're uploading into stock in the channel is the price you wish to sell for. A bit later on in this presentation we'll show you how you can configure rules to control your sell prices within stock in the channel. So if you don't want to use the rules and you're uploading your sale price, then you tick this box. We're going to leave it blank for the moment because the file we're uploading contains our cost price. Okay, so we'll hit the next button. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is tell stock in the channel which piece of information is in which column. So to do this, we have some drop downs. It's very easy because we've already told the system that the first line of our file contains the header column. So you can see this here: distributor SKU, distributor reference, brand SKU, manufacturer reference, brand name, manufacturer, product name, price, stock. So these are the required columns. If you don't have a distributor SKU, you can just use manufacturer SKU again. It's not a problem. That's why it's not a compulsory here to have a distributor SKU. These are optional, so we'll include image URL, maybe we'll include RRP and weight. What I would say about the optional columns, if you're uploading into stock in the channel products that are IT related, then the chances are we will have information already about those products. If they're more niche products, or they're products that are not IT related, we probably won't have the content. So it's important that you provide more information like description and category and so on. You know, if it's a tablet, we will most likely already have descriptions and images and so on that you can use on your own site. So we'll move on. It's now informing us that it's going to run a test import of the file, which we're going to do now. That was fairly quick. Straight away we're into a reporting screen that tells you how successful the import of your file has been. We can see straight away that we've got 52 product lines imported, 7 imported with errors, and 0 products were no stock, 3 products had no price data, and this will not save unless you hit the complete button. So the good thing about this system is you can upload a very large file. It may take a little bit longer to do the import. Obviously, I picked on purpose a very small file with 52 lines because we want the demo to be quite quick. But if we go back to the file here, these are the deliberate mistakes on the file. So a couple of lines did not have a manufacturer name, a couple of lines did not have a manufacturer brand, and some didn't have a price. So if we look at the price pass errors, we can see here it tells you the line number of where the error occurred. So this product had no price. Product errors, this product had no manufacturer SKU, this product had no brand. So this is quite useful if you have a very large file that you're importing, because you don't need to pore over a very large spreadsheet looking for gaps and errors in your data. You can just upload it into stock in the channel, let us analyze your file, and it will tell you where the errors are. And you can download a report in Excel that says line number and what the problem is with that line, and then you can go and just fix the problems with your file rather than having to check it all. What I should just say at this point is that we will pause at the end of each section to answer any questions that you have. I have Jag has mentioned that he has a question, so perhaps if you can just type your questions into the chat or the questions section of your screen, or raise your hand as an option as well. Jag, you have an option about private feeds. Let me just unmute you actually, and you can ask your question that way. Okay, Jag, speak away.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
You're explaining about the private data feed, and when we are coming to the private data feed, there is 2 options: pulled and pushed. My private distributor is giving me the URL.
The URL.
Said, yeah, the URL. So how to set up that?
Okay, the URL is different. It's not using FTP. It's using HTTP method to access the system. The private data feed currently doesn't support this. We had to keep the private data feed relatively basic because a lot of people use it, and obviously we can't spend forever explaining how to do a very intricate process for people. What you can do if you have a HTTP, a URL, is send it to us, and we can set it up for you in the back end, stock in the channel. We're probably going to add the functionality because we are seeing more people now with a URL rather than an FTP access. So we probably will add this functionality in the not too distant future. But for the time being, if you can contact your stock in the channel account manager, send him the details that you have for the URL, and we'll set it up for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any further questions at this point before we move on? We've just covered so far setting up public distributors, and when just finish this. When I talk about public distributors, I'm referring to the list of distributors that you see here. So we know how to set up these guys so that you can see your pricing, and then the ability to add a private data feed, which we've just covered on the wizard. Jag, we've done your question, and I think someone else. Any other questions regarding private feeds? Nope. Okay. All right. We're going to move on now then. Before we go on to the management of your products for publish to the web store, I'm just going to very quickly summarize the options that are available on the My Account page. There's a link in the top right hand corner here to the My Account page. It's possible within Stock in the Channel to have as many users on your account as you wish. There's no extra cost for having 50 users or 100 users or 10 or 2, however many you like. However, it is important that the people that are using Stock in the Channel within your business are on your account rather than register independently. If they just registered by themselves, they're not associated to your account. Any price feeds that you set up, they won't have visibility of. So it's better that you add a user. You've got an option here which is add user, and you can just fill in some details for them, give them a username and a password. You also have permissions here. Now, if you've got a large sales team, you probably don't want them seeing your invoices. You may not want them to be able to request new distributors, so you wouldn't select manage distributors. Private feeds, maybe not. You may not want them to change the products that appear on your web store, so you would deselect this. In fact, you would probably give them no permissions at all. They will just be able to use Stock in the Channel to search for products and see your cost prices from distribution. If you want somebody to be able to pay us and to do the billing, you give them billing. User manager means that they have access to this and that they can add and remove users from your account. And you know, the rest is pretty self-explanatory, but there's also throughout the site these little green question marks, and whenever you hover over one of these, it tells you what the functionality is of the relative tick box. So I'm going to cancel that for now. You'll also have in the user manager, if you already have many people on your account, you will see a list of them all here. And if someone's left your business, you can remove them. There'll be a crosshair. You can't remove yourself, obviously, but if there are other people that you need to remove access from, you can just delete them by clicking the crosshair. The other thing on the My Account page, quite important for us, is the view billing history. We produce all of our invoices electronically. They do get emailed to your primary billing contact, but you can also view the payment history here and your invoice history. So you click on here, you'll see a list of all of the invoices you've had and whether they were credited or paid or when they were paid. And you can indeed, if you've got outstanding invoices, you can pay us online as well. So that's the main things that I wanted to show you here. You also get an overview, basically just telling you the status. 30 active distributors, 5 rejected, 1 private feed. Last thing on private data feeds, when you set up a private data feed, we test your data, but we don't physically import the data until the overnight process is run. So you won't see the products that are on your feed until the following morning. That's quite important to know. Because what we do overnight when few people are using the system is that we take all of the feeds from all of the distributors and all of the private data feeds that people have set up for themselves, and we try and match the manufacturer name and manufacturer SKU that are appearing on those feeds against the content that we have from our data partners. And this is how we are then able to supplement the data from each distributor and from each private feed and provide more content back than what you actually put in. So if you just put a part number and a brand name, a stock level and a price and a name, a title, that's the bare minimum. But you might find when you view that product, even if you're the only person that has it, the product's not already in Stock in the Channel, the following day when you see that product in Stock in the Channel, it may well have a whole load of images, technical specification, a more elaborate description, and it will be categorized because we've taken your file and overnight we've married it up against the information that we have ourselves. I have a couple of questions. It's relevant when importing files using private feed. Okay, we'll come back to your question a little bit later, Nathaniel, if that's okay. So moving on, we're just going to look now at the management of your data and how you can actually select the products that you want to include on your website. So every everybody that has a Webstore package with us will have a second tab up here that if you're just on compare prices, you won't have seen any tabs up here. You will always be on standard view if you're compare prices. But if your account has an export package, which we call the Webstore package, you will see a second tab here called whatever you tell us to call it. We've called this one Demo Store, but it could be the name of your website. And you can have as many of these as you wish. So if you've got multiple websites or multiple feeds, you could see many of them along here. So we'll just select Demo Store for the moment. When you select Demo Store tab, you are again taken to an overview. We call this the Webstore dashboard view, and it's just an overview of what is currently of your current settings, if you like, for the Webstore publish. We'll come back to this a bit later because what's on here will make more sense once we've gone through the rest of the demonstration. There's a number of controls which are important. The first one, you'll see these orange buttons here. We'll start off with the Manage Distributors screen. So what you will see on the Manage Distributors screen, bearing in mind we're in the Demo Store tab, is a list of all of the distributors that are currently set up and available for your account. So this isn't every distributor that is public within stock in the channel. This is a combination of your private data feeds and the distributors that you have requested access to pricing from. Now you will notice that you see this tick box, and you'll see these quite a lot with the word publish. Publish basically means include. Include this products from this distributor in my data file. So only the distributors that have a tick are currently set to be included in the file that we're exporting. Okay, so you might use this because you wish to see cost prices from a whole range of distributors on your website, so on stock in the channel when you're doing your searches, but when you actually come to export the products to your own e-commerce solution, you don't want to include products from CMS distribution, for example, or whoever it is. You also have the option here to uplift your cost price, and I hasten to stress that, cost price, from each distributor. So you can put an uplift by pounds, or if you're in America, obviously dollars, or euros if you're in Europe, or you can put an uplift by percentage. Now, there's a number of reasons you might choose to do this, and this is uplifting your cost price, not your sale. This isn't where you make your profit, your markup. That's controlled somewhere separately. This you might use if we said, for example, we're just going to deselect a couple of these guys. If we said, for example, you had agreed with DMC, Ingram Micro, MicroP, Northumbria and West Coast, all of them apart from DMC agree to charge you £10 delivery. But DMC say, no, we're going to charge you £12 delivery. Well, what you do, you come here and you put a £2 uplift on DMC's cost prices. We'll just lose West Coast uplift. Now what this means is that when stock in the channel is deciding which distributor's cost price to use before calculating your profit, it will uplift all of the cost prices from DMC by £2. So if they were the cheapest but they're charging you more for delivery, the delivered cost isn't necessarily the cheapest still. Okay, hopefully I've explained that well enough, but just to reiterate, it will uplift DMC's cost prices by £2. So if they're selling you a product at £9 and everybody else, or the next cheapest one, is £10, actually it costs you £1 more to buy that product from DMC than it would from Ingram Micro, who are charging you £10 for the product and £10 for delivery. DMC are charging you £9 for the product and £12 for delivery. So what you don't want to do is use the DMC cost price because you're going to pay more in freight. Any questions about that? Are you all happy that I've explained that sufficiently? It's quite a useful function. You use it, if you like, to level the playing field between the distributors, or to handicap, if you like, the distributor that has poor or won't toe the line on your standard charges. Yeah. So if your delivery charges are all over the place, if you know, most of them are £10, but some of them are £5, some of them are whatever, you can use this just to pick what your base is and then plus or minus to edit to level the playing field. So we're going to move on. So bear in mind, at the moment, we've only selected DMC, Ingram, MicroP, North Amber, and West Coast as the distributors that we're going to include. Now, when you're on the demo store tab, or whatever the tab is called, the store view we call this, when any searches you perform will only bring back results from the distributors that you have selected here. You're only going to see products that are available to be included in your publish, in the files that we generate for you on a daily basis. In standard view, you can search the entire of stock in the channel. You will see products from everybody and stock levels from everybody. You will only see prices from the distributors that you've got prices set up from, but in the demo store view, you will only see products from the distributors that are ticked on this screen. Just to give you an example of that, we have here another window, and if we just search for C8061X, I'm not logged in, so we're not seeing stock or price, but you will see that this product is available from many distributors. Let's log in. So we can see the distributors that offer this, the stock level, and the price. If we do the same search here, C8061X, in the store tab, we're only seeing products available from free suppliers, because these are the free that offer that product that we have chosen to include in these in the files that we're publishing. Okay, so at any point you can click back on the demo store tab and come back to the dashboard, and then you've got the full list of options. So that was the Manage Distributors screen. Any question about Manage Distributors in store view? No? Okay. So the next option is Manage Brands. And here you can, pretty straightforward really, to select the brands that you wish to include or exclude. And you have a brands directory, A through to Z, and obviously the numbers as well. And you can literally just tick, 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 and these are deselect or select the brands that you want to include. And at any point you can press Show Unselected and just see the ones that are being not included in your data file. You can also show Selected and see everything. There are many brands. This list will be longer if you have more distributors. You will only see the brand names for products that are supplied by distributors you have a feed from. Okay? So if you have one distributor, you will see quite a short list here, or it depends who the distributor is, but you will see a shorter list if you only have one supplier, and it will grow. Okay, so this is really straightforward. This is again about product selection. Include products in the 2Power brand, don't include products in the 3L brand. Okay. The next section is Manage Categories, and this is much more complicated and much more powerful as well. When you first take out the Webstore package with Stock in the Channel, you will receive Stock in the Channel's default category structure. So this is our structure of categories. Again, you will only see categories here for that have products within them. So again, if you only have one distributor, you may see less categories, because there's no point in seeing a category where there's no products within it. Yeah. So you're only going to see products that are available from distributors you have selected, and therefore only categories from that contain those products. The Manage Categories or Webstore Categories screen serves two purposes. It it allows you to make product selection again. So you might say clothing and accessories, which is grayed out here. That's because publish is turned off. If we wanted to include clothing and accessories, we could turn it on, hit the save button, and clothing accessories is no longer grayed out. The settings cascade down to the subcategories and tertiary categories, third level. So if you can see all of these are now on or turned on. They're in black. If we turn the top level category off and save, when we now expand this, the subcategories are also disabled or not set to publish. So you can use this for product selection by category. So include lighting. Maybe we say no, we don't want lighting products. The other function that this serves is it provides you the ability to restructure your categories as well. There are many clients using this service, and what we don't really want and you don't want is for your site to look the same as everybody else's. So our service allows you to dramatically restructure your categories. You can rename them, you can reorder them. So for example, we have here a category called computers, and we're going to call that computing, and we might want an uppercase C here, so we're going to call that computing. We save that, and it's now called computing. If we look inside computing, we see the subcategories where you might decide data input devices. That's keyboards, mice, that type of thing. This should be a subcategory. Oops. Of computing. Data storage. That's hard disk drives. That should be a subcategory of computing. You might decide software. Should be up here. Networks, so on. So what we allow you to do is to basically restructure the whole category structure for you. Yeah, so you can have it how you want. You can rename the categories. You can move them around. You can pretty much do what you like with this. Now, one of the good things to recognize here, I have a couple of example sites for you that use our data in Magento, which is, as I mentioned earlier, our preferred solution. You've noticed they look dramatically different from one to the next. This is one of the strengths of Magento. There's thousands of people developing for this, so you can have a design as you wish. Now there are two key things about Magento, or any shopping cart really, to do with how the site is navigated. So on 123 quick deals, you have navigation down the side, which means that you can have as many top level categories as you want really. If this went longer, you can just scroll down and there would be more. With this site, they have navigation across the top, at which point you really are limited to the number of top level categories that you can include on the website, unless you want to go on to a second line, which looks a bit messy. So on here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a pretty reasonable number. That's about as many as you can get on a top navigation site. So flicking back to stock in the channel, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And before we recategorized these, we have many more. So the ability to restructure the categories is quite important, especially if you want top navigation. You may decide audio and video. We call that AV. Save. So this really allows you to personalize how the site looks. And again, if you are using Magento, this entire structure is exported from stock in the channel and imported into Magento. So you create your categories within stock in the channel. And as I say, initially you will inherit our categories, but you can then rename and remodel them as you wish. I pick on this site in particular because they've done something quite nice with the category management. If we just click on one of the top level categories here, we have components. and this image is an image that they have themselves. If we click on networks, they have another image. What they have done is they have supplied the address for the image and put it in here. So we don't supply image links for top level categories, but if we look at disk arrays, for example, we can just copy this address in here. There we go. So this is the image that we apply to category disk arrays. But this ability allows you to provide your own image for your category. So Green IT have done it very nicely by supplying an image that exactly fits the frame where they want to put it on their website. So if we click here, inspect element, this is coming from Green IT hardware. So this is where they host the image, and they've basically taken this address and pasted it in here and press save. So this allows you to again customize your site, make it different from other people's solution. So that's category management. It's probably one of the areas that people need most help with early days, but it's very important. What I would say about category management is it doesn't matter if you rename the categories or move them around within the structure. Stock in the channel gives every category a category ID number. It's not something that you see, it's under the hood within stock in the channel. And what it means is that when a new product comes to market, you know, a new tablet comes out, we will automatically put it in the category we believe it belongs in, even if you've renamed tablets to slates or handheld computers. You've called it that. We will automatically put the new products in there, wherever it is in your category structure and whatever you've called it. There is some other functionality here, which is the ability to add a root category. So you can create your own categories within the category structure and call them whatever you like. So we can call this featured products. We save this category, and then we're going to add a subcategory to it and call it featured tablets. And just for the sake of it, featured laptops. Oops, my bad. Okay, so we now have some categories of our own. Now, what you'll notice immediately is that these categories are in blue. So that tells you that they are categories that you yourself have created. We'll come back to these, and what this does in a short while, it will come clear. One of the functions that you have here, when you're in a category, so if we say we're in netbooks, you have this here, which is to view the products in this category, please click here. You'll also see a description for the category, which again you can edit. So this is just some text about the category that you can put your own personal text in there. And you'll also see hide in navigation, which is some new functionality we've recently added, which allows you to, when you get the category in Magento, you might not want that category to be in the list here, but the products within it are still searchable on your store. So that's new functionality which we're about to release. Actually, it's not quite live yet. But what we'll do for the moment is we're going to have a look at what products are in the category notebooks. Actually, I'm going to click here. So category notebooks currently has 1,831 products in it. And what we can do with these products is we have a whole series of filters down here. We have by brand, by categories, by price band, by distributor, by weight. And then we're into product specific or category specific filters: display diagonal, optical drive, display resolution, color of product. So these are largely things that relate just to laptops. If you had a hard disk drive, it doesn't have a diagonal display dimensions. These, by the way, are all attributes that we export to your website. So this is another thing that's very useful. It means that when you have the laptops category on your website, your customers will be able to filter the products within that category by display diagonal. Does it have an optical drive? This is quite powerful data. And there's a whole load of filters available for you to pick from. What we're going to do at the moment is look for in stock, yes. So we're saying only show me the products that are in stock within this category. And we're down to 732. And then you may say, right, I'm interested in the Dell ones. So we have 3 products available from MicroP that are in Dell. And we'll say, select these products. And up here you'll see bulk edit. If we hit the bulk edit button, you have the ability to edit anything. In bulk edit, you're unlikely to edit the name or description because they're 3 different products with 3 different names and descriptions, and similarly different images. What you might choose to do, though, is to say exclude these products or publish these products or leave them unchanged. You might have a promotion on these items where you know that the stock level is going to be manually 100. A sell price you're going to manually set to £259.45. And what you're going to do here is copy these products into featured laptops. Save. So straight away you're seeing here on the product details, these products are now in featured laptops and in notebooks. Now, why is that useful? So if we look back here at Client 123 Quick Deals, on their home page, you will see discounted products view all, smartphones view all, tablets. So these are categories that they're using or they've generated themselves and said, only display these products on my home page. So each one is a category. Yeah, you can view the whole digital cameras category if you wanted to, but just on your home page you might want to have specific products that you can control and configure more closely. Okay, so you can create as many categories as you want and then copy the product into them. By copying rather than moving the product, if you're browsing the notebooks category, you'll still find that item, but it's also in the featured laptops category, which might appear on your home page with just a limited number of items. You could, if you want, just have one featured products category and put include a laptop, a tablet, a TV, whatever you like, a hard disk drive, 15, 20 different products to give your website a feel that you do lots of different items on your home page. So great flexibility. You can also, as I say, just select one item. And when you select the item, you will see the content that we have available. So this is the short description, and you have the long description, specification. So this is all the content that we export to your own site about the product. And you can edit this. You can't edit the specification at the moment. You can edit the description. So if you said, you wanted to edit, you wouldn't edit thousands of products because it defeats the object of using stock in the channel for your data. But you might find that the products on your home page, you want to customize those a little bit. and again, to make your content different from everybody else's, this function is available. Okay, so any questions about category or product management at this time before we move on? Are we all awake? Excellent. Okay, we'll move on. So we're going to go back to the store view. So when we click here to get the overview. So we looked at managed distributors, managed brands, and managed categories. So all of these three things are primarily centered around product selection. So you're saying, yes, include products from these distributors. Yes, include products that are in this brand. Yes, include products that are in these categories. The next thing is to decide what price you're going to sell these products for. So we have the option here under markups and price bands to configure your markups. So there's a couple of important controls on this screen. The first one that we'll look at is stock threshold. You can set this to any number you wish. You can put it to 0, you can put it to 1, you can put it to 50. There are reasons why you would put it to 0 or 1. Stock threshold means include only products where there are this many or more available. Okay, so it actually serves two purposes. If you put this to 5 and there's only 4 available in distribution, the product will not be included on your website. Even if it's from a distributor and a brand and a category that you've said include, if there's only 4, don't include it. And the reason you might do this, of course, is if it's a popular product and it's selling fast and you have it on your website, or you push the product to Amazon or eBay and then you sell it, and you come to buy it from a distributor and they've sold out because it's a fast moving item. So I recommend that you put a stock threshold at about 5 is a reasonable number. You may want to put it higher or you may want to put it lower. That's yours to decide. This is another thing that makes Stock in the Channel very flexible, gives you the control and the ability to configure what is included in your file or isn't. So if you put it to 0, it will basically include all products even if they are out of stock. If you put it to 1, it includes only products that are in stock. Okay, pretty straightforward. The second functionality of stock threshold is to do with which cost price you use. So let's say you've put your stock threshold at 10 and the product is a LaserJet toner cartridge. It's a very popular item. It's available from 6 distributors. What this is saying is use the best price available from the distributor that meets my stock threshold. So, you know, if the cheapest distributor has only 8, use the next cheapest distributor, and that distributor has 11, great, use his cost price before you apply any uplift. And this also has a bearing on the distributors page where we were earlier, looking at the uplift on the distributors, because this is taking the cost price from distributors, including any uplift that you've applied on the managed distributors screen. Okay, so just to reiterate, use the best cost price from a distributor that meets my stock threshold. Okay, so that's again partly to do with product selection, but partly to do with selecting the cost price to use before we apply a rule. We have now here beneath the threshold a series of rules already in place, and there are a combination of ways that you can create a rule, and we'll look at those now. So you have the option to add a rule, and when you select this, you have a number of drop downs here. Select by brand. If we say HP, and we say toner printer drums. There we go. HP printer drums, costing between 50 and £150, make 7%. Save. So that's created a new rule, and if a product within your store or within your product selection meets these criteria, i.e. it's a branded HP, it fits in the category printer drums, and it's costing between £50 and £150, add 7% to your best cost price from the distributor that meets your stock threshold, and that's your sale price. Okay. Now, you can create rules with a combination of brand, category, and price, but you don't need to include all of them. You would probably in most stores use rules that look just at cost price. So you'd have a whole host of rules ranging from, if the product's costing me £0 to £50, it's a low value item, I want to make 80%. Say, if the product's costing me £101 and a penny to 500, make 7%, so on. When you edit the rule, by the way, it goes to the top of the list, and you can drag these and move them around on the list. You'll notice here something called a priority, or it's the priority arrow. Only one rule will be applied to each product, and we start at the top of the list and work our way down until we find a product rule, or sorry, a pricing rule that could apply to the product, and then we stop and use that rule. So if you are having rules that are just looking at price, and you've created a whole load of them ranging from 0 to max, which is what we have here, these rules should always be at the bottom of your list. Because if you have if we had this rule here, actually that's conversely it's the same percentage, let's just edit that and make it 50. So if you had this rule here at the top between £100 and £500, and then you did have a HP printer drum costing £75, this rule would not be used because it's already stopped at this rule and put 7% on it. So even though this is a more accurate rule for that product, it's not going to get used because it's lower down the list. So pricing rules should always be at the bottom. Now, there is a deliberate mistake, or there was, I think I might have fixed it. Yeah, there is a deliberate mistake. So if you had this rule, if a product doesn't find a rule that matches it, it uses this instead, the global markup. So let's just edit this for a second and say 101, save. So we've made a deliberate mistake here. So we have a product that comes in costing £100 and 50 pence. Well, there isn't a rule for that because this one covers £51 to £100 and this covers £101 to 500. So something costing £100 and 50 pence doesn't have a rule. What it does is it uses this instead. Okay? So if it can't find a rule, it's gone all the way down the list and it can't find a rule, it uses the global markup. My advice is to always set this at a reasonable level, a profit level that you're happy to work on. Never set this to 0 because if you've made any errors anywhere else, this is your safety net to make sure that you make profit on your products when you're selling them. Okay, so you can create as many rules as you like. Just to recap then, so you make your selection by distributor for products, by brand, by category, and you start off perhaps with 100,000 products and then you narrow it down because you eliminate products that you don't want to include and you're left with 50,000 products. You come here and you set your stock threshold to 10 and you lose another 20,000 products where there's only very low stock, so you have 30,000 products left that you need to calculate a price on. This system takes every single line every single morning, runs down this list, finds a rule that applies to your product, and then calculates your sale price for you. You also have the option to set price bands. These aren't used in Magento at the moment, but they are used in other publishers. So if you're using our data in something other than Magento, you might then uplift your calculated sale price by a further percentage to create price bands. Okay, any questions regarding markup? This is probably one of the most important parts of the whole session, because it's your profit here. We provide the tools, we provide the data, but you need to configure the tools and set your rules to control which products get included and which margins you make. So yeah, this is very important. So any questions about that at the moment? No? Okay, we'll move on. So we're going to go back to the overview, the dashboard, and just quickly look through here at now the snapshot of what our settings are. Starting off with distributors, we know that 5 of the 30 active distributors are selected. 29 of the 31 feeds have updated today. The reason why we have 30 and 31 is because of the private data feed, so don't worry too much about that. The feed that we set up earlier explains the difference. You have product selection. Your stock threshold is set to 10. This gives you 24,155 unique products that are set to publish. 633 of the categories are selected from 669, and 1,904 brands are selected. So this is really a snapshot, and one product has been manually excluded, so we've said don't include that item. Okay, and then you have your price rules. It tells you what your default markup is, which is your safety net markup, the number of price rules that you have, the lowest markup and the highest markup. Pretty good summary. What you would see in this section here, if it was a live store, would be the FTP credentials of where Stock in the Channel deliver the files to. As we're on a demo, the publish is disabled because we give the credentials out to people that wish to play with this and show their colleagues or whatever. You can get the details so that you can log in and have your own go. But we don't allow you to export the data from the demo store. If anybody wants those credentials, please ask for them. Just email us or enter a question, and we can pass those credentials to you. So what happens is every day we get all of your cost prices in from all of your distributors. We apply all of your product selection. We apply all of your markup rules, and we create a set of files which are then available for Magento to collect or for any other e-commerce solution to use. Just going to have a quick look at the back office of Magento. I talk a lot about Magento, so if you're not using our system in Magento, we've pretty much covered what I wanted to cover today. So feel free to leave the session if you're not interested in Magento. If you are interested in Magento, then stay with us for a short while longer. So I'm going to have a quick look at a client who I literally have only just sold to. This site is in development. It's not live yet. You won't be able to navigate to this URL. You'll get his old website. He's in the process of moving to us. And you can see here we're on the tablets category. And we was talking earlier about the filters. I showed you the filters that are available within Stock in the Channel. These filters get exported to Magento. So in the tablet category, we can say, right, wireless LAN. Yes, they've all got it. GPS function. Yes, show me the products where that have a GPS function. So we've narrowed the list down. These are the same filters that you see within Stock in the Channel, and they can be all expanded. You might just, by default, you might get them like this. This customer requested that they were all collapsed, if you like, so that the client doesn't see the whole list without expanding them. These are shop by filters, effectively, yeah, shopping options that get exported. We can look at a product on the site, and you see that they get all of the extra views. They get product description, the specification. This is all being exported from Stock in the Channel. Now, in the back end of Magento, Stock in the Channel has a plugin. So we're under System Configuration, and in here you will see in the side here Stock in the Channel, and you will basically see the FTP credentials of where the file is being deposited by Stock in the Channel, and you have the option to run a full import or to run just a stock and price import. One of the benefits of our system is that when we publish to Magento, or in a format that we've devised for the Magento plugin, we have a multi-file, a relational database format. One of the files in there is called product stock and prices, or stock and price file, and it's 3 columns of data: part number, price, and stock. It's quite a light file. Even if you have 50,000 products, it's quite a light file. So that file can be, you can afford to import that file as often as you like. You know, we automate the process to import the file in Magento once a day in the morning. But what it means is that the import is very quick, and you can see here, you know, on 14,000 products, the import lasted less than 40 seconds to update the price and stock level on 14,000 items. The full import takes a little bit longer, although again fairly quick really, 20 odd minutes to import the products. So the full import, by default you would only run that once a week, and we again automate the process of importing the products into your Magento. So every week Stock in the Channel will generate a new file, a complete set of files which have the images, the technical specs, the descriptions, all of the content, and we put those on an FTP site once a week, and then Magento comes and collects them once a week. If, however, you're making changes to your product selection, or you're editing products, or you're changing your categories, you have in Stock in the Channel this button here to publish a new set of files whenever you wish. So we press this button once a week, and but you can do it whenever you like. The stock and prices, which is the bit that moves all the time, we do every day, but the full files once a week. But anytime you wish to, you can come and publish a new set of files. When that finishes, you then come to here and force import the full catalog. Okay, so this is how you can very quickly change the products that are in your Magento store to reflect what you've selected inside Magento. One of the other things that we've done for this client, and we're in the early stages, as we say, of setting it up. You can see it's early because at the moment he hasn't selected his banners. These are very generic banners. But we have here the featured products category, and in Magento admin, catalog manage categories. We have, he's changed it. You can basically select the category that you want, get the category ID, and tell the home page to use products from that category on your home page. So you can basically tell it to use whatever category you wish on the home page, or categories for that matter. If you want a different design, you can have as many categories displayed here as you want. So it's very straightforward. Stock in the Channel have a number of packages available, different solutions. The our services section of our site, if you click here, tells you about the Webstore, the compare prices, the Webstore, and the order management. Compare prices is £30 a month in England, in UK. Obviously the price is different in euro. Um, we offer a free trial of this service. Compare prices can be free for 60 days, and you can try it for 60 days, and if you don't like it at the end, no commitment. That's fine. In euros, it's €40. And I'm not sure what we're charging in the US yet. In fact, it's very new for the US, so we'll take that under advisement. The Webstore package comes in a number of different flavors. So if you're just using the service to get the data out, it's £150 or €180. If you want us to do more of the work for you, we can host your Magento e-commerce site on our own servers, well, on our partner servers. So we will spin up a virtual private server for you. These servers are good for up to 100,000 products maximum. We recommend between 50,000 and 100,000. If you have a smaller product set, absolutely perfect. It's fine. But yeah, up to 100,000 products on our servers. We will install a template for you. So if you provide us with a template, and there are millions to choose, or thousands to choose from. If we look at one site here, Hello Themes, and they have Magento CE Community Edition. So there are different versions of Magento. Magento, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, is owned by eBay. Okay, it's open source platform, and it's free to download and modify. But if we look at the CE themes on Hello Themes, any theme that you find on here, and there are 3 pages, we can provide you for free of charge. We have a license agreement with this company so that we can use their templates and install them for you on your own site. Now, don't worry about what the site looks like. So if we view the demo of this site, obviously what you're mainly using will be the structure of the site, the template. All of the products will change. We will populate these. The categories will change. We will populate these. What you will need to do is anything like the banners, these sliders. You will need to provide your own artwork for these. Obviously your logo. What we call static content, which is the About Us page, the company, the terms and conditions, the services, you know, static content, stuff that doesn't change on a daily basis. You can provide us and we can put that on for you. Stock in the channel don't offer any custom design work. You can't say to us, I want to use the Hello Games theme, but can you change the font color to blue? No, we can't do this. This is design, and we can install this package for you, and we can put your artwork in the slider, your logo in, and we can do some text, and we can put our products in. If you want custom work done or custom design done to the theme, some modifications made, you must work with a Magento developer or designer. There are absolutely thousands of these, fortunately, that you can work with, based all over the world. And some of them are more expensive than others. We can put you in touch with a couple that have used our data before and are familiar with stock in the channel data. But as I say, you can generally find them on Google. There are many of them out there. If you have some experience with e-commerce, and we just go to Google, there is something called, first of all, Magento Connect. If we go there, Magento Connect is the app store for your Magento, the same as you have for your Apple iPhone or your Android phone. where you can download plugins and additional functionality for your website. So on Magento Connect, you can search for social networking. And you'll find plugins that you can download and install onto your Magento that will add functionality. This is stuff that is not out of the box. So if you want a custom service on your site that isn't part of Magento by default, you can probably find it on Magento Connect already done by somebody. Some of these plugins are charged for, but many are free, so worth having a good look. A word about plugins: when you first get your Magento, much the same as when you first get a new phone, you're tempted to plug in lots of new toys and add lots of gadgets and games and things like that. Try to avoid putting too many on at once, because sometimes they can conflict with one another, and if you've installed 5 new plugins in the space of 2 hours and something goes wrong, it's very hard to identify the cause of the problem. Better to install one plugin, test it, make sure everything's functioning and you're happy with what that plugin's done, and then if you want another plugin, then install another plugin. Not many at once, otherwise you don't know which one's playing up. If you're hosting the site yourself, if you're experienced, you may want to get your own hosting and install Magento on it. You must have a powerful server. You cannot run Magento with 50,000 products or even 5,000 products on a shared hosting server. It must be a good server, either a dedicated server or a powerful VM. It must be a Linux-based server, unfortunately. You can install Magento now on Microsoft, but our plugin and most of the plugins require Linux to run. If you are installing it yourself, you can come to Magento Connect and you can type in stock in channel, and you will find our plugin is here, Dropship e-commerce, and you can download this for free. We're growing, 516, not bad. So it's free, yeah, and it adds the functionality to import stock in the channel data. If you want us to do the work for you, to host the server, to install the plugin, to set up Magento, to tweak it, to monitor your server and maintain its efficiency, make sure it doesn't crash and monitor. We do backups, and we can give you a better level of support, one-point contact effectively. This is an additional cost, so you would pay the £150 a month or €180 for the data, but you wouldn't pay this until you're ready to turn your website live and to actually open and start trading. What you would pay to begin with is the hosting and setup fee, which is $225 a quarter. So we would invoice you quarterly £225. Not quite sure what the euro is for the hosting, but Oscar, our Spanish salesperson, will of course tell you if you ask him. So you pay the first invoice for the hosting of $225. We will set up your Magento and we will populate it with sample data. So we have a data set of 5,000 products that we can put in there. We can put your plugin, your template on there, so you can see how the site looks before you start paying us the $150 a month for live data. And then when you're ready to go live, we turn it on and it's ready to go. Okay. Jag has a question. I'm going to unmute you, Jag. 1 second. Okay, you're...
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. I have a question, like when you set up, if I select a template, when you set up my web store, if anything is alignment is going wrong or the image is out of focus or who's going to fix that?
Okay, the image, what we provide as image is a link to an image. Okay,
Okay.
the image is hosted on stock in the channel. So if we look at 123 quick deals, for example, these
Uh-huh.
thumbnails, if we copy link address,
Okay.
paste this into a new window. Actually, that's a bad example. Did that wrong. One second. Copy image URL is what I wanted. This is what you get. So this is the image for the thumbnail,
Okay.
and this is, as you can see, images.stockinthechannel.com. So it's being served dynamically by our server. The reason we do this is because if you have a website with 70,000 products on there, some of those products may have 5 images. Some of them may then
No,
have
I'm
5.
just, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, my intention is if all the images are showing out of focus when you are installing the template, it's not a big customization, okay? It's not any additional customization. It's just whatever you explain like that. Install that, we will select the template and install the template. Who's responsible for that?
Well, why would the images shouldn't be out of focus? If you are able to copy that address into a browser and see a clear image,
Okay.
then you will get a clear image. Because all it's doing, all that the browser is doing, the image doesn't exist on your site. It will display the same on everybody's site. The only
Yeah.
difference will be the size of the image. If you've taken a thumbnail image and stretched it big, it will go out of focus. So,
Yes.
or it will become pixelated. Yeah. Because thumbnail
Yeah.
images are smaller. They need to be so that they
Yeah.
load faster on people's websites. Whereas
Okay.
because when you're on this page, it's loaded a lot of images, and if you made all of these images very big in file size, it would take a long time to load on people's websites. When you go into the product details page of a product, bad one, bad example. So this image is much bigger, and we can copy image URL. That's the full size of the image.
Okay.
Now, I don't think you're going to display the image, a product image, probably even that big. You're actually going to display it smaller, so the quality will get better. Well, it won't get better. Quality can't get better than its native size, but image quality only gets worse if you make it larger or you stretch or skew the image.
No, it's like, see, I'm not doing anything. I'm just asking, okay, I'm going for that Webstore option, host and data, and I will ask your company to do that. If it is overlapping, like, for example, first I said the image, it's going out of scope, and all the menus are overlapping. So who has to fix that?
Well, we can probably help. If it's a case of a bad template, then you would need a Magento developer. If
No,
the
okay,
It
all right,
depends
okay,
where the problems come from.
all right, okay, because I'm trying to find out the problem, like
Yeah, I mean, if you have an
which
existing site, we can take a look at it for you.
no, it's like I have a site which a stock in the channel registered, hosted for me. It's not in the live, it's a FTP site.
Right.
And if you see all the images, it's out of focus. Everything is out of focus.
Oh.
And in the left side, you can't see any detail. For example, you explain me, like if it's a laptop, you can see the number of companies of laptop, Dell, HP, Toshiba, everything. And next one will be like a product category. And the next one will be like the memory or something, whatever it is. I can't see anything like that. And and also the menus are overlapping. I'm really struggling on that. Like, who has to fix this?
Well, if it was a template that we've put on for you,
yeah,
then we can help you. If it's a template that you have put on,
no, I have not put anything.
well,
Everything
then we
done by
should help
stock on
you.
the channel.
We should help you.
Right.
Yeah, contact.
Okay.
You need to tell us though. If we know about it, then obviously we can help.
All right. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we always try and help as much as we can. What we can't do, one of the strengths of Magento is that it's very flexible. It's very powerful. It's got lots and lots of options. It takes a while to learn what does what option does what, and because it's so widely developed for, and there's so many templates available and so many plugins available, it's very powerful in that regard. You can find support for it. You can go on Google.
Yeah, I can find
say,
that. That's okay.
Problem with image display in Magento. Image does not show up in front end. Magento, we have pages of results where people have asked somebody to help, and many of these will provide you with the support you need.
If I've taken a wrong template or something, if stock in the channel can suggest me is a good template, right?
We can certainly take a look at it for you, and hopefully we can resolve the issue. If we can't, we can certainly point you in the right direction. Is the main.
All right. Okay.
Main thing. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
All right. So you should definitely contact us after the webinar, and we will discuss what you need.
Oh, all right. Thank you. And sorry, can I leave now? I have to go for another meeting.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Ring us when you have the time, and we will go through your requirement.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for help. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Well, I think we're about done for today, really. Hopefully it's been useful for you. We certainly hope to hear from you in the near future, and we hope to do some work with you. If anybody has any further questions, I'm just going to unmute everybody now. So feel free to ask any questions. Okay. Does anybody have any?
Hi, you alright?
Hi.
Yeah, it's just kind of coming to an end now, actually. Yeah. No, it was alright. I mean, I was kind of, tuning into the bits that I actually needed to know about, which were quite informative.
Everybody is unmuted.
Really relevant to us getting on with stuff, but yeah. Did you listen in?
Okay, I think we probably are done then. So if nobody has any questions, thank you again for your time. We very much look forward to hearing from you. And yeah, please feel free to get in touch. We would also value your feedback. So if you can leave feedback, you can either email us and tell us what we could do better in the webinar, or what was too long, what wasn't covered. Then please let us know. We would like to hear how we can make these sessions more useful, or what other sessions you would like to see. If there was something that you would like us to go into in more detail, please let us know. Thank you again. Goodbye.